Growing up when we were kids, we didn't realize what we were getting exposed to was kind of the inner workings of a small business. You can't talk about the start of YETI without really going back to our dad and our childhood. Our dad, his priority was having fun, and his version of having fun was being outside and hunting and fishing. He got into custom rod building, and it was from there that he developed a two-part epoxy for fishing rods.
If we can't find what we want, we make it. Almost every fishing rod made in the U.S., I would say 90% of them use our coating. We call this a lifestyle business. Everything we make it for ourselves first, and then we try to sell it.
I think that exposure with Ryan and I growing up and seeing that firsthand in him developing products, building catalogs, taking customer service phone calls, calling on accounts, going to trade shows.
We were into the outdoors, we were into the gear, and that's what eventually got us to YETI.
It was really the boat business that brought me to the cooler business. Everything about the boats I was putting together was high-end and durable and for fishing the Texas Gulf Coast the way we like to fish, except ordinary coolers.
Basically, there were a couple of cooler brands that were almost disposable. The hinges were constantly broken, they didn't keep ice that well, they leaked, they cracked, you couldn't sit on them, you couldn't stand on them. They recognized that there might be a niche. Coolers are many things. I mean, they're not just coolers. Sometimes they're storage lockers. Sometimes they're tables. Sometimes they're chairs. Sometimes we stand on them.
You know, 10 years before we started YETI, we were modifying coolers by putting a half-inch piece of plywood on top of this ordinary cooler and just rigging it out to use it as a casting platform. You could point to that picture and say, hey, that's it. That's the origin of YETI. When I think about the design of the Tundra, YETI didn't invent the cooler, really didn't invent the premium cooler, but we improved it. In late 2007, been losing sleep thinking about what the ultimate product might look like. It was sitting down, drawing out these visions and designs that were wrapped up in my head, and then taking that and building a prototype from the ground up.
You can make any product have a lot of features by adding stuff on, adding stuff on, and adding stuff on, and at some point everything feels like an add-on. What this does incredibly well is it gets you every feature you need in the simplest form factor possible.
Said. We had to give the consumer the why you would spend 5, 10x on this cooler. And we felt like the best way to educate the consumer was making short videos.
Hi, I'm Ryan Cedars with YETI Coolers.
Oh, don't worry, it's a YETI.
YETI coolers are tough.
Tundra 250, the mothership. Mardi Gras in a box, the big unit. Hey man, how was your weekend?
Roy had a great idea. He just was really trying to figure out a way to demonstrate the durability of these coolers. And I'm like, well, I know a guy that weighs over 500 pounds. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna find you. And he described himself to me initially when I first met him as like, I can lift small cars and rip phone books in half like baby back ribs.
We're gonna see if he can destroy a YETI in an average cooler.
I'm gonna kill you. I mean, he took it seriously. He was just like, I'm gonna kill this cooler.
He's putting his foot through the lid of an ordinary cooler and breaking the hinges and the latches. Then he tries to do the same thing to the YETI Tundra. I think we ended up giving him a cooler for his time out there. Called it a day.
You know, running the customer service team, we talk with about 2,000 people a day, roughly on average. The most common thing we get is how a YETI saved someone's life. We've had trucks flip over where the Tundra sitting in the bed is stronger than the cab itself and keeps the cab from crushing down on somebody's head. Even with the Rambler sitting in the cup holder, car catches fire, cops put the fire out and there's still ice in the Rambler. Somebody lost a finger and used the cooler to transport their finger until they get to the hospital or sewn back on. We had a boat turn over where a guy floated on his YETI for like 24 hours till the Coast Guard found him the next day.
You know, going to the trade shows with my dad in high school or whenever, you know, I had these people that I looked up to in the fishing industry. Most of them had to do with either writing articles or some sort of, you know, television fishing show. And Flip had Walker's Cay Chronicles, which was just
best show ever.
Yeah,
oh, it was awesome.
Unbelievable.
Come with me on a trip into angling adventure. We'll ride the ragged edge where the fish are big and wild.
This is actually Tundra #1. This was the prototype of the Tundra cooler. Before these coolers came along, nothing looked like this. I really hate the term ambassador. Every company has got ambassadors now. I've always liked the term emissary. Anything but ambassador.
It's essentially the highest recognition you can get in your outdoor sporting pursuit is to be recognized as a YETI ambassador.
Early on in the process, Roy and Ryan gathered amazing people in the outdoors. You know, we were all, each of us was following in the wake of somebody else. Roy and Ryan just took that concept and made it part of their brand.
There was stress involved, there was hard work, it was finding the right people, and never in our wildest dreams did we ever think that YETI would turn in what it is today.
The Tundra set the benchmark of quality that YETI represents across the board. Now you have the centrally located seat and platform and structural component to your boat or the back of your truck that can keep ice for days and days and days. It allows you to push farther into the wilderness. Sustainability is buying something one time and owning it forever. I've always liked high-end products, and the second that a cooler that would last for generations came around, I was all in. Using the Rambler jugs, the half-gallon jugs that fit in my boat, I eliminate close to 3,000 water bottles per year. That saves me a lot of money and it saves a lot of waste.
When I first met them, they were working out of Roger's house basically, and then Barsana Dam, and then they were here, and now they're at another headquarters on Southwest Parkway. So for a company that's basically been around 11 years to change headquarters because they outgrow them every 2 years, it just blows your mind.
It's what hard work and real creativity and thoughtfulness can do. You can change a market.
Almost immediately, they began to be knocked off. And their reaction was interesting. They simply made a better product.
Now they pretty much have to make sure that everything they produce matches the quality of the Tundra.
I still have a huge passion for products. So my day at YETI might be going up to the Innovation Center and tinkering around on projects up there. I look at YETI today and we're 12 years old, but it still feels like we're on the front end of something special. We're scratching the surface of our potential. We're just at the beginning.
Roy and Ryan's success is the definition of the American dream, not because They worked hard to start a company and got wildly successful, but primarily because they never broke stride with what they loved to do and making a better product where they found the need for one. Family, friends, the outdoors remained paramount in their lives. That was never put on the sidelines. Success came as a result of sticking with family, friends, and the outdoors.